Hey guys, today's lesson for ELA is actually a quiz. So like I would do in class, I'm going to go over my expectations for it. And this is actually broken into two separate days, so Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to post two videos, one for each day. So for Thursday, your directions are to read and roadmap both texts. Be sure to identify the main ideas of each paragraph and overall text structure. Then answer the multiple choice questions. So paragraph 1 is titled Measuring Weather. Says, what tools can we use to learn about the weather? The way that the air on Earth looks and feels at a certain time and place is called weather. If someone asked you for today's weather, you might tell them how cold it is outside or how fast the wind is blowing. These are ways of describing how the air looks and feels. Read about 4 special tools that scientists use to track and predict weather. The rest of this paragraph goes on to describe a windsock, describes a rain gauge, describes a thermometer, and describes a barometer. So what you're going to do after you read this passage is tell me the main idea. Tell me in one complete sentence what the text is mostly about. And then you're going to identify the text structure. So tell me how it was organized. Decide if it was, let me scroll back up. Decide if it was sequence, where things are put in order by giving you steps to doing something, or put in order chronologically by time. If it was compare and contrast, where they compared and contrasted, showed you how things were the same and told you how things were different. Was it cause and effect, where they give you a cause and then the things that happened after? Was it description, where they just described all these different aspects of weather and tools? Or was it problem and solution, where they give you a problem and clear ways to solve this problem? Then you're going to read and roadmap passage 2 called Making a Rain Gauge. Gives you directions right here for what you'll need. And then a list of instructions on how to build it and a picture. So you're going to tell me the main idea, what was this passage mostly about, and then identify its text structure. So think about the 5 text structures here. Was it compare and contrast, where it compared and contrasted 2 things? Was it cause and effect, where it showed you a cause and then the effects that happened after it? Was it problem solution, where there's a problem and a clear solution? Was it description, where it described how to do something, or rather, describe a topic? Or was it sequence, order of events, where it either put steps in order, told you how to do something, or put something in order by time? Then for the first part of this quiz, you're going to answer these 3 multiple choice questions. Read them very carefully. Number 1 asks, which detail supports the idea that a windsock can measure whether or not the wind is blowing? And I've put below it, how does a windsock show that the wind is or is not blowing? So you're going to read through these answer choices and find the one that shows if the wind is or if the wind is not blowing. So what about a windsock shows that if the wind is blowing or shows if it's not? A says a windsock helps scientists measure how fast the wind is blowing. B said when the wind is blowing, the sock is picked up by the wind and extends or grows longer. C says the windsock also shows the direction the wind is blowing. And D says if someone asks you for today's weather, you might tell them how cold it is outside or how fast the wind is blowing. So I want to know which of these shows that wind is or is not blowing. How does a windsock work? Number 2 says, use the passage Measuring Weather, that's passage 1, to understand the purpose of the funnel on a rain gauge. So you're going to scroll back up here and read under rain gauge and find what the purpose of the funnel is. Using that knowledge, you're then going to tell me which step in making a rain gauge shows how to make the funnel. So you'll use the information from passage 1 of what a funnel is for and use it in this passage to tell me which step, which number, tells you how to actually make that funnel. And then question number 3 wants to know, what is the purpose of a rain gauge? Why do people use it? So that is work for April 2nd.